breaking down every game, every day in Major League Baseball. This is the Baseball Betting Show. Here is your host, Greg Peterson.
Hey, warmer from the low. Welcome to lovely Las Vegas for the Baseball Betting Show with myself, Greg Peterson, now part of the VSiN Family Podcast. We've got an excellent podcast for you as we're going to be joined in segment number 2 by one of our good friends, William Boor. He does such excellent work over at Action Network, taking a look at this great game that we all know and love of baseball. Additionally, we have to ask him a little bit about what we're seeing out of the Arizona Diamondbacks. He's based out there in the state. We're going to be taking a look at the slate of games that we've got for Monday and what is a very, very strange American League right now in the final segment. Going to get you guys picks and analysis on every game on the betting board for this Baseball Monday as we touch them all. If you have a question, comment, segment idea, what have you for this podcast, you have one of two ways to be able to fire those in. First one is my Twitter/X timeline at gunit_81. Keep in mind, letters CM, they mean does not matter, so as per usual, please do send these into the timeline. The other way is find an Apple Podcast review. If you rate this podcast 5 stars, it is very much appreciated from there. You're able to fire in whatever you'd like to hear on this podcast via that 5-star review. While I did not get in any Twitter/X questions today, we did have ourselves a fun day of baseball on Sunday. Let's take a look back at it, try to find some friends, and try to get to know these teams a little bit better.
Games from yesterday is Greg buzzing about. Here is the rowdy recap.
Speaking of the Diamondbacks, 5-1, they get the job done over the Washington Nationals. Nationals back to 500 after this loss. Cade Cavalli, not his best start. 4 runs allowed over the course of 5 innings. Taking deep twice, Gabriel Moreno. 4th home run of the season. Corbin Carroll, his 10th. From there, you did have Gus Varland, lend a scoreless inning, and I believe this was the MLB debut of Riley Cornelio. Might have made an appearance or two before then. 1 run allowed over the course of 2 innings, and Michael Soroka was great. 1 run allowed in 7 innings. That 1 run solo home run to CJ Abrams, 14th home run season. Kevin Ginkel, Taylor Clark from there. They both lend a scoreless inning. The Philadelphia Phillies have really righted the ship. 9-5, they're able to take down the Chicago White Sox. For the Southsiders, they do go 3 of 11 with men in scoring position, and the opener, Tyler Gilbert, not what he was looking for. Run allowed in 2/3 of an inning. From there, David Sandlin, the bulk guy, 3 runs allowed in 3 1/3 innings, take it deep twice. Brandon Marsh, 8th home run season, and the backup catcher, Rafael Marchand, his 2nd home run of the campaign. From there, you had 3 runs given up in an inning by Tyler Davis. Brian Hudson is starting to regress, 2 runs allowed in 2/3 of an inning. To have Trevor Richards clean up 2 1/3 inning scoreless. By then, too little, too late. And Aaron Nola continues to be awful. 5 runs allowed in 4 1/3 innings, but the bullpen bailed him out. Tim Hayes, a pair of outside the bullpen squirrels. Jose Alvarado, Orion Kirkring, both give you a shutout inning. And Jonathan Bolin, well, he was rolling and bowling his way to 2 shutout innings. For the Miami Marlins, they get the job done against the Rays. Another losing series for the Rays. I believe they've lost 3 straight series, 4-1. The Marlins get the job done here at Sandy Alcantara. 1 run allowed over the course of 7 innings. Michael Peterson, great name, along with Anthony Bender. Both led a scoreless inning, and Griffin Jacks. Leo Jacks up for this one. 5 shutout innings. From there, Garrett Clevenger allows 2 runs in an inning. Steven Matz, now coming out of the bullpen, 2 runs, one of which was earned given up in his inning of work. Cole Sulzer, a shutout inning, but not a lot doing for the Rays bat, so they're unable to get it done there. For the Seattle Mariners, back below 500 in road games, 5-4. The Detroit Tigers get the job done here. Luis Castillo, a good start, 1 run allowed in 5 2/3 innings. That 1 run, a solo home run to Kevin McGonigal, 4th home run season. From there, Jose Ferrer not out of the bullpen squirrels, but then Cooper Griswold gives up a pair of runs, does not get a single out. Gabe Spire, Edward Bizardo, both lend a scoreless inning, and then Andres Munoz. He was spotted a 4-3 lead going into the 9th inning, gives up a pair of runs in the 9th. He continues to struggle. Kevin McGonigal, walk-off single. Captain Jack Flaherty, captain of the SS, giving up 3 runs over the course of 5 innings. And then from there, Drew Summers, pair of outs out of the bullpen squirrels. To have Kyle Finnegan give up a run in an inning, but Tyler Holden out of the bullpen squirrels. Drew Anderson, Will Vest, squirrels 8th and 9th innings for the Tigers to be able to get that one to the window. And hey, Tariq Skubal might be back soon, so that's great. What else is great is being able to shut out a team like the Athletics did to the Astros. 5-0 the final. Gage jump has been great since getting called up to the big league level. 6 1/3 innings shutout. You have from there Mike Leiter Jr. along with Hogan Ayers give you a scoreless inning out of the bullpen. Justin Sterner, pair of outs out of the bullpen scoreless. Then Mike Burrows continues to have a rough run of things. Gave up a pair of home runs, 5 runs, 4 of which were earned over the course of 5 innings as Brent Rooker gets his 10th home run season. Nick Kurtz, his 12th home run in the campaign. From there, Stephen Okert, a shutout inning of his own. Brian Abreu, a scoreless inning, and Nate Pearson, 2 scoreless innings, but by then the damage had very much been done. The Blue Jays were able to do some damage. 6-4. They take down the Baltimore Orioles as Kevin Gausman, 4 runs allowed in 5 innings. He was taken deep in this game by Taylor Ward. 3rd home run of the season. He had 30 last season, but hey, he's been moving the line. Colton Cowser, 6th home run in the campaign. From there, the bullpen did their part, though. Alex Macko, a scoreless inning. Connor Siebold in out of the bullpen scoreless. Tyler Rogers and Louis Varlin both give you 4 outs apiece scoreless. And for the Wizard of Oz, Shane Baz, 5 runs, one of which was earned, given up in 5 2/3 innings. There was a player that ran out of the baseline that they did not call, so the Blue Jays, they very much benefited there. And for Baz, he gives up a home run to Yohendrick Pinago, 4th home run season, and then Brandon Valenzuela a little bit later on off of Uncle Rico Garcia, 7th home run season for Garcia, raises his ERA to 1, gives up that home run in 2/3 of an inning of work. Yunier Cano, Grant Wolfram, they combined for a shutout inning. Tyler Wells, he pitched Wells for a pair of outs out of the bullpen scoreless, but damage by then, it had very much been none. The Yankees were able to do some damage. 6-1. They take down the Red Sox. This game was 1-1 going into the 8th inning, as got a good start out of Ranger Suarez. 6 1/3 innings, gives up 1 run. From there, Taylor Guerrero, pair of outs out of the bullpen scoreless, and then Justin Slayton allows 4 runs in 2/3 of an inning as he was taken deep by Cody Bellinger. 9th home run of the campaign. Then Jazz Chisholm, he gets jazzy for his 8th home run season. Joe La Sorsa, he gives up a home run in 1/3 of an inning. Cam Schlittler continues to be pretty rock solid. Not a ton of length here, but 5 2/3 innings. He allows 1 run. That'll play. From there, you had Fernando Cruz, Brian Hedrick, both give you a pair of outs out of the bullpen scoreless. Tim Hill, David Benner, they do not poop the Benner. They both give you a shutout inning. For the Atlanta Braves, now 45-21, best record in all baseball. 3-2, they're able to take down the Pittsburgh Pirates as the Pirates walk the plank with Mason Montgomery as the opener, giving up nothing in his inning of work. From there, Bubba Chandler, 3 runs, 2 of which were earned in 5 1/3 innings. Evan Sisk, 5 outside the bullpen scoreless, but just not a lot doing for this Pirates team. Bryce Elder continues to not look elderly. 2 runs allowed over the course of 6 innings. Spencer Horwitz, 8th home run of the campaign off of him, but Reynaldo Lopez, Tyler Kinley, they combined for 2 shutout innings, and Didier Fuentes, first career save, he was able to get a scoreless 9th inning. Being able to keep things relatively scoreless. How about what we saw out of the Texas Rangers? 10-0, they completely blanked the Cleveland Guardians as Jacob deGrom was on it in this one. 6 shutout innings. Peyton Gray, Tyler Alexander, Luis Carvalho all end a scoreless inning, and Joey Cantillo, well, he can't get a lot of outs here. 7 runs given up in 5 innings, including 3 bombs, as taken deep by Josh Young, his 8th home run of the campaign. Justin Foscue, 3rd home run season. Wyatt Langford, welcome back, his 2nd home run of the season. Then the backup outfielder, Michael Hellman, he was able to get home run numero uno of the season. That comes off of Mr. Will Dion, who gives up that home run over the course of 2 innings of work. Austin Hedges, the backup catcher, he gave up 2 runs over the course of an inning, and absolutely nothing doing here for the Cleveland Guardians. Whole heck of a lot doing for the Milwaukee Brewers, though. 12-4, they take down the Colorado Rockies. They put up a touchdown with the extra point in the 6th inning after they trailed early. Shane Drone, longest start of his career, gives up 3 runs over the course of 6 1/3 innings. Out there at Coors, that's pretty solid. Chad Patrick from there, 5 outs of the bullpen scoreless, and then you had a solo home run given up by one Mr. Craig Yoho in his inning of work. Hunter Goodman, he was a good man, getting his 17th home run season. Kyle Freeland, now the all-time leader in terms of innings pitched for the Colorado Rockies. 3 runs allowed in 5 innings, not too bad, and then the bullpen made a mess of things. Jay Nilg, he got 1 out, and he gave up 5 runs, all of which were earned, including a home run to Gary Sanchez, 6th home run of the season, and 1st home run in over a month. Keegan Thompson from there, 3 2/3 innings of long relief. He gives up 4 runs, and the Brewers now 19-10 on the road this far this season, so they're looking pretty rock solid, and a team that's looking pretty rock solid. How about the St. Louis Cardinals? 5-3, they're able to take down the Cincinnati Reds. As for the Reds, they were on to Rhett Lauder, making his first start in a while. Doesn't give up any runs and only 1 hit in 3 innings, but walked 5. From there, Caleb Ferguson, he gives us shutout inning. Chris Paddock out of the bullpen, 3 runs allowed in 2 innings. He gives up a home run, as it was numero dos of the campaign for Brian Torres. And then you would have Brockenroll Burke be able to give you a shutout inning. From there, you had Sam Moe give up a pair of unearned runs. He was hurt by his own throwing error, and he didn't get a single out. Tony Santillan unable to hold on inherited runners in his inning of work. Meanwhile, for Michael McGreevy, continues to be rock solid. He does give up a pair of home runs in 6 innings of work. Tyler Stevenson, he was able to get home run number 5 of the season. Matt McClain, his 7th. McClain a little bit later on off of George Soriano, his 8th home run season. Soriano gives up a run in 2/3 of an inning. From there, Jojo Romero, Ryan Stanek, they both give you a pair of outs out the bullpen squirrels. Riley O'Brien, a squirrel 9th inning to be able to get that one to the window. And the Royals, they haven't gotten to the window much this season, but they did on Sunday. 6-5, they were able to take down the Minnesota Twins. For the Twins, Connor Prelip, not the length that he was looking for, only gives up 2 runs, but goes just 4 1/3 innings. From there, you had a Minnesota Twins bullpen that has not been great, be not great. Cody Layerson gives up a run in 2 innings of work. Andrew Morris, he got tattooed for 3 runs in 1 2/3 innings, allowing a home run along the way, going deep off of him. It was Mr. Starling Marte of the Marte Parte, his first home run of the season. Justin Lawrence from there, he shutout inning. And Noah Cameron, very good start here. 1 unearned run given up in 6 innings of work. John Schreiber, Mason Black from there, they both give you a shutout inning. Now, Beck Way made things very interesting in the 9th inning, gives up 4 runs in a third of an inning. Josh Bell took him deep, 6th home run of the campaign. Lucas Serge has to come in, clean up the mess, gets the final 2 outs of the game after the Royals were up by kind of 6-1 going in the 9th inning. So if you had the Royals on some sort of reversal run line or something like that, not great there, but they do find a way to be able to persevere and get the job done. And hey, the Mets find a way to persevere and get the job done. 7-3, they're able to take down the Slam Diego Padres. Randy Vasquez, not what he was looking for. 4 runs allowed over the course of 4 innings, including a home run. Going deep off of him, Mr. Marcus Semien, 8th home run of the season. Then Yuki Matsui, who entered in this game with a sub-1 ERA, gives up a pair of bombs. MJ Melendez, 4th home run of the season. Carson Benjay, his 7th home run of the season. And for Carson Benjay, how about 5 for 5 in this game? So he was rock solid. For Matsui, he gives up those 2 home runs in 1 2/3 innings of work. Ron Marinaccio, 2 1/3 innings, he gave up a Wani Peralta, a shutout inning. And Oscar Brisbane, he was the opener for the Mets, shutout inning before Sean Manaea gives up 2 runs over the course of 4 innings. He was taken deep in this game. As for the Padres, Freddie Fermin, 2nd home run in the campaign, but from there, they were nails out there in the bullpen. AJ Minter, Luke Weaver, Devin Williams, along with Brooks Raley. They do not go off the Rayleys. They all give you a shutout inning, and a Angels team that has went off the Rayleys all season long, they find a way to get the job done. 13-5 over the LA Dodgers. As for the Dodgers, Emmett Sheehan, not long for this game. He gives up 2 runs in 1 1/3 innings. A little bit of injury concern out there, and from there, Edgar Enriquez, 5 outs out of the bullpen Squirrels. Blake Trinan, he gives up 2 runs in his inning of work. You had Alex Vesia give up 2 runs in 2/3 of an inning. Jonathan Hernandez, he allows 6 runs in 1 2/3 innings. Take it deep twice. Joe Adele says fired to the rain, 10th home run season. Zach Neto, his 12th. From there, Jack Dreher, 4 outs out of the bullpen Squirrels. Kyle Hurd, he gives up a 1 run in 1 1/3 innings. And Jose Soriano, not what he was looking for. 5 runs, 4 of which weren't given up in 6 innings. As you had Dalton Rushing get his first home run in over a month. His 8th home run of the season. And how about the young outfielder in Ryan Ward getting his 2nd home run of the season? From there, the bullpen did their part. Can't say that about the Angels much this season. Drew Pomeranz and Bachman, they combine for a shutout inning. Chase Silseth, Mitchell Ferris, they both give you a scoreless inning of their own. And then on Sunday Night Baseball, the Cubs, they just continued to struggle with situational hitting. They fall in this game by a kind of 2-1. This despite the fact that Javier Assad, a great effort. Jamison Taillon, he gives up a run in the 1st inning, comes out for the 2nd. He gets injured, and Assad, 6 1/3 innings scoreless of 1-hit baseball. From there, Jacob Webb, a pair of outs out of the bullpen scoreless. You had Daniel Palencia give you a scoreless 9th inning. Trent Thornton gives up the unearned run in the 10th inning. Matt Chapman starting to turn things around, RBI single. And for Trevor Old McDonald, he was able to go out there for a nice start. 5 innings, gives up 1 run. From there, JT Brubaker, Caleb Killian, Eric Martin, Keaton Wynn, and Dylan Smith all lend a scoreless inning as the Cubs, they strand 10 men on base in this game, 1 of 10 with men in scoring position. And if you're taking a look at trend-wise, what we're getting in baseball right now, it certainly has been an overwhelming season, and we did have more overs than unders on Sunday. Overall for the season, the over rate now 51.1%. 487 overs, 466 unders, and if math serves me correct, we've now had 25 pushes along the way. Favorites on the money line hitting at 55.5%, 527 and 422 on the money line, but among those favorites, 125 have failed to cover the run line over the last 7 days. Been a slog for favorites, 45 and 42 on the money line, and just 11 of those favorites failed to cover the run line. Meanwhile, the over rate of Major League Baseball over the last 7 days, right around about 53.8%. 49 overs, 42 unders, and 1 push along the way. So that's what we're seeing in baseball right now. That's what we're getting trend-wise. Coming next, let's chat it up with our good friend William Boor of Action Network right here on the Baseball Betting Show. Myself, Greg Peterson, now a part of the Beats and Family Podcast.
Breaking down every game, every day in Major League Baseball. This is the Baseball Betting Show. Here is your host, Greg Peterson.
And we're back here in lovely Las Vegas for the Baseball Betting Show with myself, Greg Peterson, now part of the Beats and Family Podcast. Always great to be joined by this man, as we've got William Boor aboard. He does such amazing work over at Action Network, covering a little bit of everything. I know that they're getting set for what is going to be an amazing World Cup, and they're going to do a great job in terms of evaluating those 48 teams all throughout the year. They do a great job on the baseball front, basketball, football. Hey, the hot dog eating contest is coming back in our lives. They've got us covered there. Unfortunately, there's no bowling lines out. I used to be a college bowler, but if you were able to bet on bowling, they would have you covered there. And for William, you're able to follow him on the old Twitter /X at the letter W, last name Boor, Boor, all together. And William, it's always a pleasure, my friend. Thank you.
Always a pleasure, Greg. Always happy to hop on, talk baseball with you. You're right. World Cup obviously coming up. A lot of exciting stuff in the plans for that, but baseball will still be covered on a day-to-day basis. So let's talk about it.
Yep, absolutely. And William, it has been a very just interesting last few months in general. And I'm not sure how you look at things, but I feel like there's never been a league more unpredictable than the American League, where there's really no top team. And it just feels like it's just a big giant hodgepodge with the only thing that we know is that the Angels are absolutely terrible.
Yeah, the Angels are terrible. The Astros are underwhelming. A's are starting to kind of slip back to where we expected. But you're right. Every time I think, Seattle, who I was really high on before the year, is going to go on a run, they go and, lose a bad series, drop 3 or 4, something like that. The AL Central, I guess we can just kind of ignore, go Cleveland, I guess. And then you've got the AL East, where I think you had, the Rays and the Yankees sort of separating themselves and saying, hey, we're the class of the American League. And maybe that is the case. Maybe that remains the case. But with Aaron Judge on the IL, how does that change, the dynamic of power in that division? We'll see. Just see what happens over the next couple of weeks. But you're right. This American League is really, really interesting.
Yep, it is going to be interesting. And is there one or two teams that you pinpoint that you think, hey, they might be able to win some games? Because the one thing that I take a look at in the American League, someone needs to be able to emerge. Like, there's going to be games played. Someone needs to win them. I personally look a little bit more at the Rangers and the Blue Jays personally, but I want to get your thoughts as to which of these teams, outside of perhaps like the Guardians, might be able to win these games. And I'll even throw in there the Yankees, because without Aaron Judge, who knows what we're going to get out of them moving forward.
Agreed. I mean, I still really like what I'm seeing from the Rays. They're a very complete team, and I still think there is a little bit more of a ceiling there. I mean, they're 37-25, but the run differential is only a +7, which is kind of wild. So in theory, if you look at their expected win-loss at 32-30, they should be more of a 500 team. So they are outperforming expectations, but I think this is sustainable for them. And the other team I look at, I mentioned them earlier, I'm still high on the Mariners. I think with that pitching staff, there's a lot on that roster I like. They're in first place. You mentioned the Rangers. That could be an interesting battle in the AL West down the rest of the season, but I'm really high on the Mariners and think there's a lot of good pieces on that roster.
Yep, I am right there with you. And one of the reasons why I'm high on the Mariners as well, the man that is going to be on the bump on Monday, Emerson Hancock, has been one of the more low-key good stories in all of baseball. Right now for the Mariners, about -120, -130 favorites, depending upon where you look against Baltimore. Not all books have this up because it should be Chris Bassett, but they have yet to announce him as a starter. Could be like an opener situation. How do you look at this game? Because I do think that this is a game that the Mariners should be able to get the job done in, and I really trust in Emerson Hancock right now.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't care who starts, whether it's Bassett, whether they go opener, whatever they're going to do isn't going to matter for me. I like the Mariners. I like Emerson Hancock in this spot. 2 earned runs or fewer in 4 straight starts. He's just throwing the ball really well lately. He's throwing the ball really well all year. I'm just going to kind of ride the hot hand with Seattle.
Yep, I'm right there with you. That's one that I really do like for Monday. Seattle, I think that they get up off the mat after a few rough ones out there in Detroit. And then I think this one is interesting as well, because out there in the National League, it's been a little bit touch and go with some of these teams that are fighting for wild card spots as well. The Pirates have been a little bit shaky, but they've had a few nice triumphs. They've had a few falls. You've had the San Diego Padres just not be able to put up runs whatsoever. The Cubs have certainly had trials and tribulations, and with the Padres, they're going to be taking on the Cincinnati Reds, who they have fallen below 500 as well. Going to be Walker Buehler against Andrew Abbott with the Padres right around -130, -140. Want to get your thoughts here, because the Padres pitching is more than good enough to carry them into the playoffs, but man, this lineup is not creating any runs whatsoever.
Yeah, I'm probably passing on this because I can't figure out the Padres. I don't understand why they can't hit. The pitching, as you mentioned, is fine, but the run differential at -18 is staggering. You look at the names in that lineup and you see one thing, and then you look in the output of that lineup, and it's just not there. I can't figure out the Padres. The pitching's keeping them around. They're also not quite bad enough for me to give up on them. They're just really tricky right now.
Yep, I'm right there with you. Fernando Tatis Jr. right now on pace for like 2.5 home runs this season. That's not a place where you want to be. I mean, he's got one more home run than the two of us thus far this season, and neither of us have seen any professional at-bats. So, not a place where you want to be, as we do have our good friend William Boor over at Action Network joining me right here on the Baseball Betting Show. And then this one I think is interesting. I'm typically not in the business of laying like minus 175, minus 180 on the road with a team, especially one in the Phillies who have been solid recently, but it's not like they've been the world beaters of the world thus far this season. But Christopher Sanchez, my goodness, 1 run allowed over his last 6 starts going against Patrick Corbin and the Blue Jays, total of 7.5. Want to get your thoughts here because I just can't bring myself to fade Christopher Sanchez until we see a bad start because this man is just absolutely dialed in.
Yeah, like you said, it's Christopher Sanchez or bust. If you want to pass on this game because of the price, I get it. But if you're betting this game, the Phillies are the only play. 5-1 this month. Obviously, they got off to a slow start this season, but they're playing so much better of late. The only thing here is the price. So maybe we've got NBA Finals. Maybe you want to do Phillies and parlay it with some sort of NBA prop, have some fun, take Phillies run line, something like that. But if you're playing this game, it has to be the Phillies. There's no other way around it. And you pretty much, at this point, got to play the Phillies every 5 days whenever Christopher Sanchez gets the ball.
Yep, and Zach Wheeler has been very rock solid as well. I keep on waiting for Andrew Painter to give us some positivity. It still is not coming. So one of these days, Andrew Painter is going to be able to give us a good start. We shall see when that day is going to be coming. But regardless, it has been incredible what we've seen out of Christopher Sanchez thus far this season. And then have to get your thoughts here because for the Athletics, obviously, they've been playing in Sacramento over the last year plus. Now they're in lovely Las Vegas taking on my guys, the Milwaukee Brewers. Brewers a pretty nice minus 155, minus 160 favorite with Kyle Harrison. Totals up to 10.5 to 11. And you're the perfect guy to ask because you used to be over at MLB Pipeline. So you know about these AAA ballparks. They're going to be playing at Las Vegas ballpark. How do you look at this? Because a start with Kyle Harrison just should not have a total of 10.5 to 11 outside of Coors Field. But as we know, Las Vegas ballpark can be a launching pad in and of itself.
Yeah, he said outside of Coors Field or this spot right here. I'm still probably going to be on the Brewers tomorrow. Like you mentioned, Kyle Harrison shouldn't be in games that have total this high. He's obviously throwing the ball really well. 2 or fewer runs in every start this season, which, I mean, that speaks for itself. I will say, like, the 1.57 ERA is not exactly sustainable, which obviously, you know, that's an incredibly low number. But his xERA is 3.11, which is, you know, still very good. So is there some room for regression? Yes. Does that hit, you know, in Vegas? Maybe a little bit. But I still like Kyle Harrison much more than Jeffrey Springs, who's given up 4 earned runs in 3 of his past 5 starts and is going to be pitching in a launching pad. So to me, this is another Brewers spot. I would probably stay away from the total because I'm not sure which way that goes. If Harrison's able to get swing and miss, then it doesn't matter where they're playing. But obviously, if people are putting the ball in play, a couple fly balls fly over and Harrison gives up 4 runs, the Brewers still win the game 7-4 or something like that, gets kind of clunky. So I don't know. The total kind of scares me in stadiums like that, but I do like the Brewers in this spot, and I'm not sure what it's worth, but Kyle Harrison and I went to the same high school, so that's cool too.
Hey, very nice. I love hearing that. And I am the guy from my high school. His name is Caleb Belsley. He's currently pitching in the KBO for the old KT Wiz. I remember I used to call their mascot the Smiling Blobs because they looked like smiling blobs, so warms my heart there. So we always love those connections as we've got William Boor of Action Network joining me right here on the Baseball Betting Show, and no doubt that's going to be an interesting one. And is there anything else that you're really going to be taking a look at on the slate for Monday? Because it's not necessarily the biggest card, but we've got the Red Sox versus the Rays. It's been a little bit shaky for the Rays. Going to be interesting to see what we get there. And the Giants are going to be coming off of Sunday Night Baseball, and they've got a long road trip to come back home before they face the Nationals.
That's where I was going. Luckily, this game's at 9:45 Eastern, so I might see how some of my other bets are doing on the day before I pull the trigger. But I'm definitely looking at the Nationals here. I know Logan Webb's track record is good, but Logan Webb this season, it's just not clicking. He's not up to his usual standards. And let's face it, even if he throws really well, the Giants can't score. So if Logan Webb gives up 2 or 3, that unfortunately might be enough to get the Nationals home at this. So if I can get, Nationals at plus money late in the day, if I'm already up on the day, it might be worth taking a little stab there late tonight.
Absolutely, and it's going to be a fun day in general. And I do want to get your thoughts on one more thing as well, because my friend, I know that you're out there in the great state of Arizona, and we've been talking a lot about some of these teams that have ascended slash declined. It feels like nobody is talking about the Arizona Diamondbacks right now, who, if the season were to end today, they would be in the playoffs. They've played some very good baseball. Want to get your thoughts on them, because I really do like what I'm seeing on this Arizona Diamondbacks team, but it feels like they're getting lost with all these other teams that have been able to have some good seasons themselves.
Yeah, they're playing a lot better of late. Split the series last week with the Dodgers, which was nice, but then, couldn't keep the momentum up, lose the series to the Nationals, which you don't want to do. I think they're in an interesting spot as far as kind of sliding into anonymity, because you've got the Dodgers, who obviously steal all the headlines out west. And then you've also got the Padres, who people are trying to figure out what the heck is going on. So Arizona's sitting in the middle, doing their business day in and day out. But you're right, this is a team that is playing really well of late and seems like they could maybe make some noise if they keep it going.
Yep, and the one thing I will say, prior to Sunday Night Baseball, they were in position for a playoff spot. If the Cubs won, then they would be a half a game back. But still, playing good baseball, the Arizona Diamondbacks, they've been a pretty rock-solid team. So I'm very curious to see what we're going to get out of them moving forward. And William, you're doing a great job keeping up with baseball, football, World Cup, and so much more. So let the good people at home know it's all on tap for you and how people can follow along on social media and other platforms.
Of course, Twitter, Blue Sky at WBoor, all one word, for all thoughts and stuff like that. But follow all my bets and picks in the Action Network app at William Boor _, all one word. Obviously, every baseball game covered on our website with betting guides, promos. We got homers, props, parlays, everything you want. But if you want more than just baseball, ton of World Cup stuff coming this week. Whatever's left of the NBA Finals, the Stanley Cup, we'll have that. We've also got some really cool tools that we're going to start promoting tomorrow for the World Cup, where you can, get fair lines for every matchup, do your own hypothetical matchups, and just, line shop and everything like that. So a lot of stuff to come see for the next coming week.
Absolutely. And every single time William joins me, he lends such great insights. Did so once again today. So big thanks to William for joining me right here on the Baseball Betting Show, now part of the Beast and Family Podcast. Coming next, it is that time of the podcast to give you picks and analysis on every game on the betting board for this Baseball Monday as we touch them all.
Breaking down every game, every day in Major League Baseball. This is the Baseball Betting Show. Here is your host, Greg Peterson.
And we're back here in lovely Las Vegas for the Baseball Betting Show with myself, Greg Peterson, now part of the Beast and Family Podcast. Always great to be joined by William Boor, does such great work over at Action Network, looking at this great game that we all know and love of baseball. Every single time he joins me, he lends such great insights. Did so once again today. So big thanks to William for joining me in the last segment. Now it is that time of the podcast. I give you picks and analysis on every game on the betting board for this Baseball Monday as we touch them all.
If a game is listed on the betting board, Greg has a side and a total on it, so it is time to touch them all.
Do note that as per usual, any changes that are made to these plays will be listed up on my Twitter/X feed at @GUnit_D1. We're going to be going in Las Vegas rotation order. This is where we go with the National League games first in time order, then the American League games in time order, any interleague games. Those are going to be at the bottom. That'll keep things all nice and clean and easy. Let's get things started. This is 901, 902 on the card. The Reds, yes, we're on to Cincinnati. They're onto the road. They're facing off against the San Diego Padres. Walker Buehler goes for the Pods, and Andrew Abbott is on the bump for Cincinnati. Total on this game is 8. The over is -110. The under is -110. Padres between -130 to -140 favorites. +115 to +120 is that number on the Red Legs, and I am going to be in on the under. I set my total at 7.9. Neither of these guys are like strikeout artists or anything like that, but Walker Buehler, I really feel like has pitched much better than his ERA would indicate. For Walker Buehler, has been able to keep the ball in the yard. He's giving up right around about 1 home run per 9 innings, 4.53 ERA, fielding dependent more around about a 3.50, and as a matter of fact, 0.6 home runs per 9 innings for Buehler. Still only about 7.6 strikeouts per 9 innings, but has really rounded into better form as well. 2 earned runs or fewer in 4 of his last 5 starts. The lone exception is when he gave up 3 runs, so he's been pitching in relatively good form. Andrew Abbott has been much better recently as well. After a brutal start to the season, he has now given up 3 earned runs or fewer in each out of his last 6 starts. Again, for Abbott, he's not getting a lot of strikeouts. 6.2 strikeouts per 9 innings. Do have to be cautious of the 4.1 walks per 9 innings as well, but he catches a nice break with the fact that for the San Diego Padres out of 30 MLB teams, they are currently 30th in terms of run creation. They are averaging fewer than 3.8 runs per game. The Reds, they've been a league average team. They're averaging about 4.3 runs per game. As a matter of fact, coming into Sunday, that was approximately 15th in the league. And for the Reds, they are dealing with the injury to Elly De La Cruz. That hurts them a little bit. But you still have cousin Sal Stewart, who's been able to give you like a 350 on base, 12 plus home runs this season. And you have a few other guys that are starting to step up. Dane Myers, JJ Bleday, both are giving you about a 360 on base. They've been able to get her done with Blake Dunn, hitting about a 300, and you are going to need more on some of these guys at the bottom. Matt McLean, Will Benson and company have been hitting right around about a 200. The catcher spot with Tyler Stevenson has not been great, but Spencer Steer, all of a sudden, give you 9 home runs, hitting at 265 along with Nathaniel Lowe. Now for the Reds, I just can't back them because this bullpen has been awful. They were actually first in the league in terms of ERA in their bullpen through the first about month or so of the season. They're now in the bottom 6 in the big leagues. The Zach Maxwell, Zach McCambley, these are very untrustworthy guys, have not seen a lot of big league innings. Rock and Roll Burke Sample, sub 4 ERAs, and Caleb Ferguson's coming off the injured list. That should help out a little bit, but Tony Santillan, TJ Antone, 375 plus ERAs. The long guys just have been a complete nightmare for this team, and for the Padres, it continues to be a top 6 team in terms of bullpen ERA. Jason Adam and Mason Miller get all the attention, but how about what Yuki Matsui is doing this season? A sub 150 ERA. Wandy Peralta's been solid. Now, André Marajón has had his issues this far this season, but all in all, I like what I've been seeing on this bullpen, so I do think that's going to be a little bit of a lower scoring game, and I think that the Padres have just enough offense to get it done. You're going to need more out of Manny Machado and Juan Fernando Tatis Jr., and Tatis is getting on base, about a 342 on base. That's not bad. The 1 home run, that's pretty awful. Manny Machado, 11 home runs, not bad. .69 batting average, that needs work, so they need to come together and be able to work on their differences. Ramon Laureano being out for the year, that's going to hurt the team a little bit. Xander Bogaerts has toilet bowled a little bit as well, down to about a 300 on base. Jackson Merrill has not been great, but Ty Francis give you a bit of something. I think about a 270, 6 home runs, about 125 or so at bats. Gavin Sheets has now been able to give you 10 home runs in a lower scoring game. Think that the Padres get it done. I do like the Padres on the money line, set them at a minus 144, and I'm in on the Thunder, set my total at a 7.9. 903, 904 on the card. It's the Nationals. They're going to be on the road against the Giants as Logan Webb is on the bump for the Giants, and Miles Michaelis goes for the Nationals. Nationals do find themselves as a pretty good sized underdog here, between plus 143 to a plus 154. Meanwhile, minus 165 to minus 184. That's your number on San Francisco. Total of 8 over and under, anywhere between minus 105 to a minus 115. Gonna take a shot here on the under. Did set my total at 7.8. Now for the San Francisco Giants, a big eruption with their offense in their road swing. They got over 50 runs over the last 7 games, so they've been able to do a great job there. You look at their home scoring though, and averaging about 3.75 runs per game at home. That's a bottom 6 mark in all baseball, and San Francisco is one of the most pitcher-friendly ballparks that you're going to find in all baseball. You still are going to need a little bit more out of William Adames along with Rafael Devers. Both of these guys give you less than a 300 on base. So for Adames, he's finally up to a double-figure amount of homers. He's up to 11 home runs. That helps you out. Devers is still at 8. He's been moving the line a little bit more, but you're still going to need a bit more there. Casey Schmidt, though, has been great. 15 home runs. He's been able to hit about a 290. Doesn't draw a lot of walks, but you'll take that. Jungle Lee, Luis Arias. They're both hitting above a 300 as well. And how about the young guy in Bryce Eldridge? Not going to give you a ton of power, but he's moving the line as well. Even Daniel Susic at the catcher spot has been relatively solid for the Giants. They're now about a league average team in terms of bullpen area. We've seen Caleb Killian hit the toilet bowl a little bit. Eric Miller has been up and down like Tristan Beck, but JT Brubaker, Keaton Wynn, Sam Hentages, you've got a lot of guys there give you a sub 275 ERA, and then for the Washington Nationals, this continues to be a bottom 8 team in terms of bullpen area, even with Richard Dickey, Lovelady, along with Orlando Robalta, give you a sub 350 ERA. Love Brad Lord as a long guy, and you always want to be mindful with Miles Michaelis. They might be throwing an opener from 6.39 ERA thus far this season. Not a guy that's going to get a lot of strikeouts. His strikeouts per 9 rate is hovering in that neighborhood of about a 6, and he obviously has been giving up the deep ball quite a bit. You do take a look at the home and road splits for Miles Michaelis, and either way it's rough, but he's been a little bit better when he's been away from home. 794 home ERA, and at home he's given up over 3 home runs per 9 innings. He's giving up closer about 1.3, 1.4 home runs away from home with a 4.82 ERA. So it's been a little bit better for him, and for the Nationals, this team is numero uno in terms of run creation. James Wood, CJ Abrams, these guys have been absolutely magnificent thus far this season. season with Wood. He's up over a 400 on base. He's been able to supply this team with over 16 home runs. Abrams is up to 14 home runs. He's give you over a 370 on base. And then you've got other guys move the line. Curtis Mead, he's up to 9+ home runs, 355 on base. Keibert Ruiz doesn't draw walks, but he's hitting 275 down. Lyle's finding a way to be able to move the line as well. So interesting spot here for Logan Webb. He was not himself prior to going on the injury list, but he's coming off of that really good outing against the Brewers where he went 7+ shutout innings. So you do like to be able to see that. And for Logan Webb throughout his career, his ERA has always been a full point lower at home rather than away from home. For his career, about 0.55 home runs per 9 innings allowed at home. For this season, 4.25 ERA, but still a 3.42 fielding dependent, only giving up 0.6 home runs per 9 innings. So I'm willing to side with the Giants here. I did set their money line price at a -179. If you're looking to lay a run half with them, you're going to be getting that at a +120. I'm going to side with that run line. I was willing to take a +117 or better. I do like the under, so I told 7.8, 9-5, 9-6 on the card. The Mariners are going to be on the road against the Orioles. This should be Chris Bassett in some form or capacity for Baltimore. We just don't know if he's going to be a starter or not. And then Emerson Hancock goes for Seattle. Right now, Seattle is opening up as about a -125 to a -130 favorite, +105 to a +110. It's that number on Baltimore. Totals between 8.5 to 9 on the 8.5. Overs -130 and the unders +110. On the 9, unders -120 and the overs even. I do like the under. I did set my total at an 8.2. Emerson Hancock has really been one of the better stories in all baseball this far this season. He's allowed just 5 runs over his last 4 starts, totaling 23 innings in that span for the season. 2.80 ERA, 8.9 strikeouts, 1.9 walks per 9 innings, and assuming you get past that in some forward capacity, the 5.27 ERA has been less than savory with only 5.9 strikeouts per 9 innings, but he had 2 just terrible starts to begin the season. Last 10 appearances ever since then, 4.14 ERA, and you look at what he's done at home. In Baltimore, 3.09 ERA, 0.3 home runs allowed per 9 innings, and it's a Mariners team that has not been amazing with their offense. They're about 18th in the big leagues, averaging about 4.2 runs per game. As we know, Cal Raleigh currently out of the fold for the team. J.P. Crawford, he doesn't hit for like any average whatsoever, but he's been able to give you over a 340 on base. He's been able to give you a double-figure amount of bombs. Now, the likes of Patrick Wisdom, Rob Refsnyder, some of these guys at the bottom have not been great, but Colt Emerson, he's been the real deal. He's been able to give you some homers. He's doing a good job hitting for about a 245 or so. You've had Randy Arozarena continue to give you a 375 on base. Julio Rodriguez, along with Luke Raley, both of them able to give you 12+ home runs. These are guys hitting right around 255, and for these Seattle Mariners, this team does continue to be in the top 7 in terms of bullpen ERA. Matt Brash, Edward Bizardo, Gabe Spire, Jose Ferrer, all these guys give you a sub-3 ERA. You could throw in their Cooper Criswell as well. He's been rock solid, and for the Orioles, this is a very shaky bullpen. They're a bottom 8 team in terms of bullpen ERA. Just Andrew Kittredge, along with Keegan Aikens, since coming off the injury list, have been absolutely awful. Both of these guys posting up an ERA well above a 5. Yanier Cano, Uncle Rico Garcia have been great. You've got a pair of guys who are giving you a sub-255 ERA. Anthony Nunez, though, has been a little bit rough. You've got Grant Wolf from 3.50 ERA. He's been okay. And then when it comes to this lineup for the Orioles, you've been able to have Gunnar Henderson go deep 13+ times, but less than a 280 on base. Kobe Mayo, Colton Cowser, along with Heather O'Neill. Young guys that need to get on base a little bit more. Now, I will say, you've been able to have Colton Cowser get online much more over the last 14 days. He has been much better. Other 2 guys hitting below 225. Pete Alonso is looking a little bit better right now. 13 home runs, back above a 320 on base, so that's stabilizing. Adley Rushman, Samuel Basayo, the 2 catchers, have been relatively solid as well, but with the Mariners, do think that they get the job done with that better bullpen. Like the Anderson might tell it at 8.2, want to lay up to a -126 on the Mariners on the money line, set them at a -127, 907, 908 on the card. It is the Yankees. They're going to be on the road against the Cleveland Guardians. Gavin Williams goes for Cleveland. Will Warren is on the bump for the Yankees. The Yankees are even money to -105, -110 to a -115 is that number on Cleveland. 8 is the total, over and under, both at -110, and I do like the under. I set my total at a 6.9 with Will Warren. He's been pretty solid this year. A 3.22 ERA, fielding independent, right on line with that, about 9.6 strikeouts per 9 innings, 1 home run allowed per 9. You take a look at what he does on the road. On the road, this goes down to about 0.3 home runs per 9 innings, and he's got an ERA that's right around about a 2.25. And then Gavin Williams, he's been able to give you over 10.5 strikeouts per 9 innings. He does give up a few walks. He's right around about 3.2, 3.3 walks per 9 innings, but has really tamed them down recently, giving up just a hair over a 1 home run per 9 innings. And for the Yankees, it's just massive that Aaron Judge is currently out of the fold for them, because we have seen them average fewer than 4 runs per game since he's been out. They are still a top 7 team overall for the season in terms of run creation, and I actually feel like they're a little bit better equipped to be able to handle the loss than they have been in past years, because Paul Goldschmidt has been stepping up. He's been able to give you about a 355 on base with some power. Ben Rice has been tremendous, 17+ home runs, nearly about a 390 on base. So they still do have a star bat in the lineup, but you're also dealing with John Carlos Stanton being out of the fold. And you do have guys like a Jazz Chisholm who's been hitting a little bit better recently, but it's been up and down from Jose Calabrio. They move the line, but so with the likes of the catcher spot, Ryan McMahon and company, going to need a little bit more there for the Yankees. This is a relatively solid bullpen, though, because you've had Camilo Duvall along David Bernhardt, posts up over a 4 ERA, but Brent Hendrick along with Fernando Cruz, these guys have been able to give you a sub-350 ERA. Whenever they've looked at Yuri de los Santos, he's been in and out of the lineup and just on and off the roster. In general, he's been a relatively solid long man for the team as well, so I do think that they're going to be able to do an okay job against a Guardians team that they themselves are a bottom 8 team in terms of run creation, and that's a big reason why I did set my total at a 6.9. I'm going to be in on the under for the Guardians. You've had Jose Ramirez look a little bit better recently, between 9 to 10 home runs, but expect a little bit more than that with a 345 on base. Travis Bazzana, he's been able to move the line. He and David Fry between about a 350 to a 360 on base. Brian Rocchio as well, about a 360 on base. Patrick Bailey's giving you nothing. Stephen Kwan is still hitting at 220. Chase Lauder after a nice start to the season. He has waned with his offense, and Guardians are more of a league average team with their bullpen ERA as of right now. You've had the likes of a Peyton Palante give you an over 4 ERA. Tim Aaron has been pretty solid. He's still giving you about a 350 ERA. And John Armstrong coming off the injury list should help. But Eric Zabrowski, one of their better relievers, he's on the injury list. Hunter Gaddis has had an up and down season as well. Cade Smith has really figured it out as a closer. But that said, I do think that the Yankees, even with having Aaron Judge out of the fold, they get a really nice start here from Will Warren. And I do think that they're going to be able to get the job done what I think is a super duper tight game. I set the Yankees out of minus 103 when we get the timelines. Should be able to get this right around even money. And I'm seeing right around even money in some places, so going to take the Yankees on the money line and like the under, semi-total at a 6.9. 9-9-9-10 on the card. It's the Red Sox. They're going to be on the road against the Rays as Ian Seymour goes for the Rays. Connolly Early is on the bump for Boston. Boston does find themselves between minus 106 to minus 116 favorites. Meanwhile, between even money to minus 105, that's your number on Tampa Bay. 7.5 is the total. Over is minus 120. The under is even, and I like the over. I did semi-total at an 8.2. Now for the Red Sox, this has been a bottom 6 team in terms of run creation with just under 4 runs per game this season. They've been significantly better away from home. Away from home, nearly 4.7 runs per game, 3.3 runs per game at home. But I do think that there's going to be quite a bit of aggression here for Connolly Early. Right now for Early, he's posting up a nice solid 326 ERA, 463 fielding dependent though, 1.5 home runs, 3.1 walks per 9 innings. Meanwhile for Seymour, 523 ERA in his 23 appearances far this season, but a 420 fielding dependent, getting about 9.5 strikeouts per 9 innings. And you look at the career numbers for Seymour, but much better as a starter. Coming out of the bullpen, 462 ERA, 1 home run allowed per 9 innings, 325 ERA, 0.7 home runs per 9 innings as a starter. I never understood why they took him out of the starting rotation, but now he's back, and for the Tampa Bay Rays, has been a little bit of a sketchy run for them. I believe they've now lost something like 9 out of their last 13 games, so been a little bit less than savory, but still have guys that are moving the line, getting on base. Jonathan Aranda, Junior Caminero, both are giving you at least a 375 on base. Caminero has been able to give you 14 home runs. Jonathan Aranda up to 11 bombs. Yandy Diaz, they're near 400 on base. And then these mix and match guys like Richie Palacios, Ryan Velde, these guys are giving you over a 340 on base as well. Hunter Fiducia is able to move the line. And for the Rays, I know that Cole Sulzer has hit the toilet bowl a little bit with regards to him coming out of the bullpen, but like Brian Baker, Kevin Kelly, these guys have been able to give you a sub 325 ERA. Garrett Clevenger has been a little bit better since coming off the injury list, still a little bit shaky there, and you should probably be able to get Mason Engler to piggyback a little bit here. They're going to be utilizing him for some innings as well, so I do think that you're going to get a 1-2 punch between Englert along with Ian Seymour, so they'll probably be doing that sort of combination on that front. Meanwhile, for the Boston Red Sox, this has been a top 6 team in terms of bullpen ERA. They do have Garrett Whitlock currently on the injury list, but Justin Slayton has come off the injury list along Danny Kalum to be able to give a little bit of relief. Now, Giovanni Morin hits the injury list, and that doesn't sound significant, but sub 350 ERA out of him, but Tyler Sebenaijo continues to be rock solid. Aroldis Chapman has been one of the better relievers in all baseball, and for the Red Sox, he just need more power. Bottom 3 team in terms of home runs on a per at-bat basis. Now, Jaron Duran had 9 home runs in the month of May. That's helping you out, but still only a 275 on base for the season. You do have the likes of Ceddanne Rafaela, along with Masataka Yoshida, Weiler Abreu, giving you between about a 335 to a 350 on base. Having Roman Anthony out, he was providing about a 355 on base. Has certainly been hurting the seam. And Marcelo Meyer, Caleb Durbin doing nothing in the infield has hurt the seam. But Wilson Contreras, 390 on base. He's been able to give you 13 home runs. But in the end, I do think that Seymour and and Engler sort of in a 1-2 punch does find a way to be able to get the job done, and I think that you get some runs here. Like the over, so I tell it at 8.2, and with the Rays, I'm willing to take them up to a -122 on the money line. 9-11, 9-12 on the card. It's the Houston Astros. They're going to be on the road facing off against the Los Angeles Angels, as you've got Grayson Rodriguez on the bump for the Halos and Spencer Arrighetti. No, Mom Spaghetti is on the bump for the Astros. Astros slim favorites here, anywhere between -115 to a -125. Even money to +110 is that number on Los Angeles. 9 is the total, over and under both at -110, and I'm going to take a shot on the under. I did set my total at 8.6 for the Angels. They just have not been able to generate runs at home. For the Angels, averaging 3.74 runs per game at home, 4th worst in all of baseball. They have been significantly better with their offense away from home, and we did see this Angels team pop off, have a double-figure amount of runs yesterday against the LA Dodgers. Mike Trout continues to be amazing. He's been able to give this team a double-figure amount of homers. He's up over a 390 on base and aim. Zach Neto, 12 home runs, 340 on base, doesn't necessarily hit for a lot of average. You've got Joe Adell, 7 fire to the rain with 10 home runs. Still only gives you about a 283 on base. It's a very all-or-nothing lineup. As well, Peraza has been able to move line. That's helped out along Nolan Schuno, but you don't know what you're going to be able to get out of the catcher spot. Jose Siri in a small sample size has been great, but we've seen him really toilet bowl in the past, and for this Los Angeles Angels team, man, this bullpen is rough. They have been, for much of the season, dead last in terms of bullpen ERA. Drew Pomerantz over a 5 ERA. Kirby Yates starting to look a little bit better. His ERA is back below 4, but Brent Suter, he's up right around about a 480 as well. They had to use a lot of the bullpen after Jack Kachanowicz. He got one out and he gave up a bunch of runs, and now he's got a phantom injury, so go figure there. And on the other end, for Spencer Arrighetti, he is due in for a lot of regression. He's been giving up a lot of walks, but that said, I actually do think that there's a little bit of positivity here coming for the Astros. For Arrighetti, 194 ERA, 418 fielding dependent. The 4.8 walks per 9 innings are an issue because he's backed up by a bullpen that has been as well in the bottom 3 in the big leagues in terms of ERA, but now you've got Josh Hader off the injury list. That really helps you out. Brian King, along with Daniel De Los Santos, sub 350 ERA out of these two guys. Stephen Okert has been able to give you about a 3 ERA. So that bullpen is getting a little bit better. And then for the Astros, you've got 2 main matchers. That would be Yordan Alvarez along Christian Walker. Walker, 16 bombs, hitting about a 250. For Alvarez, 22 home runs, over a 430 on base. Isaac Paredes, such a pull hitter that it's not even funny. Everything goes the left field direction. So that's always a fascination. And hey, this ballpark should be able to help out with that just a little bit. He's been give you overall about a 333 on base thus far this season. Need more from the guys at the bottom, though, because you've had the likes of Bryce Matthews along with the Zach DeZenzo, Zach Cole, throw in there Cam Smith, a lot of guys hitting at 225 or lower. Jake Myers has been very underwhelming as well. The Carlos Correa injury has hurt the team, but now you're getting Jose Altuve back in the fold as well. And for Grayson Rodriguez, when he's at peak form, I really think that he's got upside. Man, he is not at peak form right now. He's still able to get some swings and misses, but he's clearly not controlling his stuff very well. 950 ERA, 594 fielding dependent. He's still getting about 8.5 strikeouts per 9 innings. 2 home runs, 5.5 walks per 9 innings. I do think that he rounds into a little bit of better form here. Missed all of last season due to injury, so I'm in on the under. So I told it at 8.6. And for the Astros, made them a -126 favorite, so I'm going to be willing to back the Stros on the money line. 9-13, 9-14 on the card. The Phillies are going to be on the road against the Blue Jays, as Patrick Corbin, the old turkey tosser, is on the bump for the Jays, and Cadena Sanchez is on the bump for the Phillies. Phillies do find themselves as a mondo favorite here, -175 to -190. Meanwhile, between +150 to +164, that number on Toronto, 7.5 is the total. Unders between -110 to a -120. Overs between even and -110. If you're looking to lay a run half with the Phillies, that's between even money to -105, and I'm going to be willing to lay that run half. I was willing to go up to a -120. Mention it with William Boor. You just can't fade Christopher Sanchez until you see a bad start out of him. He has given up 1 run in his last 6 starts. It's absolutely remarkable. Overall for the season, 146 ERA, 10.7 strikeouts, 0.3 home runs allowed per 9 innings. He's not giving up walks, and he's going against a Blue Jays team that is in the bottom half of the big leagues in terms of run creation. Now, I actually do think that there's upside here for this Blue Jays lineup because they've been a top 2 team in terms of field strikeouts on a per at-bat basis. Brandon Valenzuela filling in for Alejandro Kirk, about a 343 on base. He's been able to hit 3 home runs over the last 4 games. So he's starting to be able to pick it up, and you got plenty of guys to get on base. AC Sanchez, Yohendrick Benyego, Vlad Guerrero Jr., Ernie Clement. All these guys are hitting at least a 285. For Guerrero, though, he's stuck on 3 home runs. You just expect a little bit more there. George Springer has had an underwhelming season as well. Andres Gimenez at the bottom of the fold. It's been rough. Kazuma Okamoto is your main boom guy. He's been able to give you a double-figure amount of homers, but it's only getting about a 235 in. Blue Jays bullpen has been quite improved recently because Louis Varland has been amazing. Sub-1 ERA thus far this season. Then you've got Tyler Rogers along with Braden Fisher. These guys are a sub-275 ERA sort of duo. You have Jeff Hoffman, who's been a little bit rough this season, but overall the main guys have been able to do a pretty rock-solid job. And then on the other end of things, you've got a Phillies team that does have Yohan Duran along with Orion Kirkering, who have both been able to give you a sub-3 ERA. You're really probably not going to need much more other than that because for Sanchez, he's won 6+ innings in every one of his last 6 starts, 7+, and I believe all but one of them. So you're not going to be looking at Tanner Banks, Jonathan Bull, and these poo-poo guys in the bullpen. For the Phillies, they have been rough with regards to their lineup. They're a bottom 6 team in terms of run creation. Kyle Schwarber and Bryce Harper have just carried the team. Harper, 368 on base, 14 home runs. Schwarber, 23 Schwarber bombs, about 360 on base. You just need more out of everything else. The catcher spot, Trey Turner down for what? Bryson Stott, Alec Boehm, all these guys hitting 230 or lower with not a lot of power. That's been an issue. Brandon Marshall's hitting like a 330, so that's been great, but Adolis Garcia continues to be about as useful as a poopy flavored lollipop, so I think that you get a lower scoring game, even though Patrick Corbin is pitching to a lot of contact. Corbin has actually done a nice job in terms of not hurting himself. Only 6.1 strikeouts per 9 innings, but solid 3.98 ERA, 1 home run, 2.7 walks per 9 innings, so I do like the under, so my total at a 7.3, and I'm going to be willing to back the Phillies on the run line up to a -120, and wrap things up with 9.15, 9.16 on the card. The Athletics, they are going to be playing us to the Brewers, as for the Brewers, it's Kyle Harrison on the bump for them, and for the Athletics, Jeffrey Springs from Las Vegas is going to be out there for them. And with the Athletics, I'm seeing them currently as a +130 to a +140 underdog, -154 to -160 is that number on Milwaukee. 11 is the total, under is -115, over is -105. Now, for the Athletics, they're going to be playing in a ballpark in Las Vegas that is about 3,000 feet above sea level. Looking at the temperature, probably going to be about 95 out here in lovely Las Vegas. So it's actually below 100 degrees for the start on Monday, and it's going to be a little bit cooler during the night time. So I'm in on the under. I actually set my total at 9.2. For Kyle Harrison, he's just been that good this far this season. 157 ERA, 3 earned runs or fewer, and I believe every one of his starts this far this season. He's been blowing teams away, giving up just half a home run per 9 innings. And for the Brewers, this is a team that is doing a great job with small ball. They're a top 5 team in terms of run creation, but they really don't hit for a lot of homers. They're a team that ranks dead last in the big leagues in terms of home runs on a per at-bat basis. They're just a team that they swipe bags, they play the game relatively the right way, and I think that is going to be able to propel them to victory. You've been able to Bryce Rank continue to give you about a 400 on base as far this season. Jake Bowers is your main man for home runs. He's been able to give you 10 bombs as far this season. But when you look at Jackson Chourio along Christian Yelich since coming off the injury list, both of these guys hitting above a 275. Andrew Vaughn has given you a 400 on base since coming off the injury list. There's so many guys that do have a good job in terms of finding way on base. Evan Hamilton has been solid. And for the Brewers, they are backed up by a top 8 team in terms of bullpen area as well. Chad Patrick has been really good in terms of being able to lend some long relief. They are dealing with a few injuries right now, but Brian Fitzpatrick, who got called up, he's been able to give you a sub-3 ERA. Aaron Ashby has been nails for the team all season long. Abner Uribe, Trevor McGill, rough starts to the season, but they're rounding into form. And for the Athletics, even when they've been at home this far this season, they've been a league average team with about 4.5 runs per game. So even when they're in Sacramento, which is a ballpark that I would say isn't too dissimilar from Las Vegas, it's not like they've been super duper booming or anything like that. And then with regards to their bullpen, likes of Scott Barlow, Luis Medina, Hogan Ayers, have been able to give you a sub-375 ERA. Justin Cerner has been pretty solid. Mark Leiter Jr., Elvis Alvarado, they have not been solid. And for the Athletics, they're still dealing with the injury to Jacob Wilson. That's been hurting them quite a bit. Nick Kurtz, one of the best in terms of drawing walks in all baseball, double-figure amount of homers, over a 425 on base. Shea Langolaris continues to bang. He's been able to give you about a 350 on base, 16 home runs. Tyler Soderstrom, along with Brendan Rooker, though, both of these guys give you less than a 230 average. For Soderstrom, he's been a little bit better here recently, but expect a bit more there. Zach Aloff has been a little bit up and down as well. Carlos Cortez continues to give you a 400 on base, but I do think that for the Brewers, they get the job done against a guy in Jeffrey Springs that has given up quite a bit of boom. 1.8 home runs allowed per 9 innings, 437 ERA. Fielding independent is a little bit higher than that, more around about a 480 or so. So I do think that the Brewers, they do find a way to be able to persevere here. I was willing to lay up to a -108 with regards to that Brewers run line. You're not going to be getting as great of a number as you typically would, but right now you're finding that about even money, -105. I'm willing to take that Brewers run line in this ordeal. I do like the under, and that'll wrap things up for the Monday edition of the Baseball Betting Show, now part of the VSiN family of podcasts. Big thanks to our guy, William Boor, does such great work over at Action Network. He joined me in the last segment. If you do like hearing from this fine podcast, Baseball Betting Show, you're able to subscribe wherever your podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, and TuneIn. If you have a question, comment, segment idea, what have you for this podcast, do have one of 2 ways we offer those in. First one is my Twitter/X timeline at @GNet_81. Keep in mind, Larry CM, maybe does not matter. So as per usual, please do send these into the timeline. And the other way is via an Apple Podcast review. If you rate this podcast 5 stars, it is very much appreciated. From there, you're able to fire in whatever you'd like to hear on this podcast via that 5-star review, and I'm with you guys every single day, giving you guys picks and analysis on every game, every day. So I'll be back with you once again tomorrow. Thank you.